Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 400. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today we're going to be speaking with the founder of Eartha Watches, Mr. Emir Horton. Now, if the name sounds familiar, it's because we've had Emir on the show several episodes ago. I believe it was September 21st of 2020 on episode 323, and that episode was titled From Homeless to Building a Watch Brand. What we're going to do today is we're going to see what Emir's progress and his transition from startup and building his company to actually being able to systematize and grow his business. And I think this is a very interesting episode because it shows the progress from an initial startup to where Emir is right now in his business, some of his growing pains we're going to discuss, and also some of his successes. So I think any entrepreneur is going to have some solid information today that they're going to glean from this. And it actually gives you a look into not just a snapshot, but the actual progress of somebody starting and building their own business. Now, before we get to today's show, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Also, 2 platforms I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. Also want to mention my new rebranded, rebooted BEB Academy. You can get 3 days free access into the Academy. And what that is an online learning portal that will help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. We have online courses, resources, downloads, and masterclasses in areas such as building your business, e-commerce, how to set up your LLC, financing, everything you need to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. So make sure you go to BEBacademy.com. So let's get ready for today's show. We are live with my man Emir Horton, the founder of Eartha Watches. Emir, how are you today, brother?
I'm good, Sam. How you doing? Thanks for
having
good.
Me. Yeah, man. Well, you know, it's the second time, man. Second time's a charm, right? Well, that's the third time. We'll wait for the third time. But I tell you, man, I think today is a very interesting show because a lot of times there's a progression to entrepreneurship. So it's usually the launch, then you build, then you grow, or the startup, the systemization of your business, and then the scaling of your business. And so when I interview people, a lot of times they only get one phase of what's going on at that point in time. But for all the BEB family members, Emir was actually on the show September 21st of 2020. And it was episode number 323, and it was titled From Homeless to Building a Watch Brand. So we got a lot to chop up and talk about and see where you've been since that initial interview. So before we get into your entrepreneurial journey, man, just give them a little background on who you are personally, and then we're going to jump in and rehash a little bit of your previous interview, but then we're going to really focus on what's happening right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, so my name is Emir Horton, born and raised in Philly, currently reside in Los Angeles. You know, when I tell people about myself, I try not to go directly into, you know, what I do for a living as far as my profession and my career, because, you know, I feel like I'm so much more than that. You know, I'm an uncle, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a friend, and I'm a believer. And so, aside from those things, you know, I am also a television producer and the founder and CEO of Eartha Watch Company. Moved to Los Angeles almost 4 years ago, which is crazy. Moved here in September, September 1st of 2018. And it's been a blessing, man. Like, one of the best decisions I could have ever made in my life, and completely transformed me. And so, yeah, I've been at it, working in the industry, and building this watch company that I didn't even know was inside of me. You know, I've been in a watch since a teenager, and I used to want to have a personal collection with a high-end brand, but then life caught up to me. The LA struggle caught up to me real quick. And I said, you know what, I need to figure out how I can support myself financially and build something that I'm passionate about. And that's what I've been doing ever since, is just operating in my passion. And as you say, operating in your genius to really catapult me into my purpose.
That's what's up, man. So yeah, for those of you guys who didn't catch the first episode, make sure you go to episode 323, get the initial story where Emir talks about being homeless, riding out from Philly to LA with $1,000 in his pocket, trying to live that dream. So that takes guts and balls, straight up, right? Yeah. You know, but you knew it was something that you had to do. And first I want to talk about, man, Eartha Watches, right? The concept behind Eartha Watches. And for you guys listening or watching the video, it's EARTHA, EarthaWatches.com. So you guys make sure you check it out. But what's the concept behind it, and what made you actually start it?
The concept behind it is, you know, our slogan is connecting time to the mission. And, you know, going back to, you know, the last time I was on the show, when I was 21 days into launching the business the last time I was on the show. And what I was thinking, and like, as I was developing this brand, I was thinking about those homeless, you know, experiences in those tough times. And I'm like, yo, like, we each have an invaluable asset, each and every one of us. And that asset is time. And in order to go after the things that we want to do and be successful, no matter what it is, we have to maximize and be strategic with our time. You know, it's invaluable. And so, in thinking about the foundation of the brand and the concept, I'm like, I'm starting this brand because I need to support myself financially. In order to support myself financially, I need to be strategic with how I utilize my time. That means saying no to certain things. That means saying yes to certain things. That means cutting some people off that do not serve where I'm trying to go. We're not going to be sitting on the phone talking about nothing. Like, help me try to develop a business plan. That takes time, you know. Right. So it's like everything that I'm giving effort to and time to needs to be intentional. And because I'm on a mission, whatever the mission is, I'm on a mission. I know what my mission is, but for, you know, our consumers, is like we're on a mission. We're all after something, but we're never going to get there if we don't connect time to it. So that's what that's how I came up with the concept. And I'm like, I want something to be a staple of legacy, and that's why I named the company after my grandmother, because I'm like, I want this to represent legacy. Everything that we're after should represent something. It shouldn't just be pointless, you know. Right. So that's how I came up with the concept.
Since you started, what type of progress have you made since we first spoke in terms of, say, your visibility, partnerships, sales? You don't have to get specific with your numbers. I know how that is. The IRS might be watching, but in terms of the progress, because I think it's important for the BEB family members who maybe haven't started yet or are in the same stage of business that you're in. You know, you're in what, about 2 years now, or close to 2?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years, right? Yep. And so that's still the startup type phase in terms of length of time. So talk to me about what type of progress have you made in terms of your business. And I know when you're talking about a physical products business, there's a whole lot of stuff in terms of production. You have to make sure all of your product is correct as opposed to a service type business. But have you made any partnerships or inroads in any media, you know, collaborations or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so actually it will be 2 years. So September 1st of this year will be
Okay.
our 2 year anniversary. But the growth, man, it blew my mind. Like
Cool.
for one, we won our first award last year for top fashion brand
Oh, wow.
for a publication called Ultimate Gift Guides. And Ultimate Gift Guides is a platform for up and coming brands, black owned and brown owned up and coming brands. And so I submitted, to receive the award, and they emailed me back and was like, you won, and we had over 2,000 submissions for it, and your
Wow.
brand actually won number one. They chose 10 brands to win this award, top fashion brand. And in their issue, I forget what was the name of the issue, but it came out in November. And
Okay.
since Eartha won number one of the 10 for top fashion brand, they actually gave me like a full page article talking about the brand and myself and things like that. So
That's what's up.
that's pretty dope. Aside from that, we are internationally known. I have customers in Canada, and we have brand interest in Ghana and the UK. Ghana and the UK, I see you. I see you. Aside from that, we had in the first year, we had about, I want to say 18 secured media placements with
Wow.
outlets, podcasts, interviews from Medium, Quintessential Gentleman, Official Black Wall Street.
Oh, man.
My company is listed on Forrester Culture and their directory, so it can be seen on
Okay.
Forbes' website essentially. As far like our customers is growing, there's
Right.
some
Right.
area for improvement. But as far as as far as visibility, we're doing pretty good in the publicity space.
Man, nah, that's good because it takes, especially you said 18 media placements. That's real good, and so that media hopefully is going to continue to drive sales and revenues. Tell me, Emir, about one of the most important or the most positive entrepreneurial moment that's happened to you since you started your company, and what did it feel like? Was there something that was just like, man, I'm on the right path, or this is confirmation? Tell me about if there was a moment like that. Tell us about it and how did you feel?
It was actually I just experienced this moment the end of January, which was
Okay.
crazy because that's the top of the year. That's when we're all on go. We on 100 trying to accomplish goals and all this stuff. But for me,
Yep.
at the end of January, I hit rock bottom for the first time in my business.
Really?
And
Wow.
it was so bad. Like I was sitting in a coffee shop downtown, and it was so bad. Like I broke down inside of the cafe,
I hear you.
like in public.
I hear
Started bawling, crying because I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
like this. I don't know what it is, but I'm like I can't keep doing this. I can't keep operating
Right.
this way. And the problem
Right.
was that like I've hired freelancers and contractors to work for me on like project-based stuff, but for me primarily, it's only the first year and a half of the business. I'm doing primarily everything on my own, and
Right.
it caught up to me real quick. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to think of something. I can't keep doing this. Like I can't keep operating this way. And I'm believing for expansion, and I'm putting structures and strategies in place to help build the business, and not realizing that it's starting to really take a toll on me mentally. Like I had those stress headaches, like the real sharp headaches that come in the left side. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is bad. And so
Right.
I started talking to my friends, and one of them were telling me, they were like, you need to take a break. And they always tell me that. People tell me that all the time, but I'm like, take a break? Like I can't take a break. Like
Right.
no, like these bills not going to take a break. So like I need to be
Exactly.
because these bills come in every month. I don't need to take a
Right.
break. And so they were like, if you don't take a break, you're going to kill yourself. And my therapist told me the same thing. She's like, you have to slow down. And I'm like, but I can't slow down. Like it's a problem. That's what I realized. My
Right.
work ethic is actually it has become a problem in a sense. And so I considered what they said, and I said, you know what? My birthday was a week after that breakdown, I said, I'm gonna just walk away from my business for a week, leading up until my birthday, and I'm gonna go on a fast and talk to God and really just turn over my business to Him, because I can't handle it right now. And when I got back, I didn't look at no analytics, I didn't look at no DMs, no website, no emails, nothing for a straight week, and it felt so good. It felt so good. By like day 2, I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing. And when I came back, I was on fire. So that was a very pivotal moment in me, like, realizing when you have to take a break. And sometimes it's hard, because I'm like, I can't take a break because I don't have the person in place to operate things while I'm away. But it's like, what can really happen to your business within the week of you taking a break? Nothing really can happen. Like, you may not get some sales that week, but money is always going to come in, so that was that moment.
Well, it's funny because you kind of answered maybe the second question, because I asked you about, I was going to ask you about one of the setbacks that you had. And so that kind of covered a setback and also a confirmation that, hey, you back and doing what you're supposed to do. Now, you said a word in there, man, that's almost taboo for black men in the community. And I'm glad you brought it up, because I want you to expound on this. And I know it's getting more popular, but you said when you talk to your therapist, right? So, the in our community, oh man, I don't need to talk to nobody, right? I'm good, right? Talk to the BEB family, if you don't mind, about the benefits, especially for black men, because we're the ones that usually don't want to talk to anybody, because we supposedly we ain't built like that. But talk to your experiences with that, and what your thoughts are in terms of going to a therapist or talking to somebody, and how has that benefited you?
As I mentioned, what led me to therapy was anxiety. And as we began to have our sessions, my therapist, she was telling me, she was like, you've been dealing with anxiety for the past 3 years and not knowing it. And it wasn't until like last year, I was going through some things out here in LA. Like, I had a friend who committed suicide. My best friend's dad, he passed away. I was going through an allergic reaction, like real bad allergic reaction. And when I flew home to Philly for my friend's dad's funeral, I had to go to the hospital because of the allergic reaction. I ended up missing his funeral. And then as I'm in the hospital, they doing all this test, they had the EPK, whatever thing on your chest. And they come back to me and they were like, something is wrong. Like, it's something that's abnormal about your heart. So then all of that started trickling down on my anxiety. But the root of my anxiety really was my career. And so I'm like, I need to go talk to somebody to figure this thing out, see what's going on. And we began to really peel back the layers as to why I have a work ethic the way that I do. And ultimately what it is the trauma response. And I didn't realize that until I went to therapy. Then we started talking about, my upbringing and things like that. And, the stigma that is on the black community with therapy is just, it needs to go away, because us as black men particularly, we carry so much, and we allow our career and our ambition to be a distraction to dealing with reality. And I always tell people, like, our experiences, it may not show up in your career, like, but it's going to show up eventually somewhere else. It's going to show up in the way you treat people, the way you raise your kids, how you are as a leader. It's going to show up in one way or another. So if you don't deal with it, you're going to have to face it later on eventually. So just do the work.
Man, I appreciate you sharing with that with the BEB family, man. So fellas, you listening out there, ain't nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting better. All right. So you can pretend it's better, or you can get better. You know what I mean?
And it's different when you talking to someone who doesn't know you from a can of paint. So it's like they really can't judge you. Like, it's their job to sit there and listen to you. And it's uncomfortable, because we're brought up and conditioned to not express our feelings and not be vulnerable. But that's where the transformation happens. It happens in those moments.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man, because like you said, it's taboo in our community, especially for black men, man. I wanted to jump back real quick in terms of your business, Eartha Watches, right? So you and I were talking off air the other day, and I was saying, man, I'm getting on my IG, I'm getting everybody and their grandma, I'm getting a like a ad for watches, and I'm like, this is crazy right now. Why do you think there's a popularity now with watches, and how do you plan on separating yourself from the other brands out there?
Great question. For one, the watch industry is projected to be $117.8 billion in 2025. Wow. So it's a lot of money in the watch industry. Okay. And a lot of that has to come with the easy access it is to have a product, a watch. Like, it's so easy to just slap a logo on a watch. You can easily just go on Alibaba or whatever and say, here's my logo, and they'll put it on a watch. And a lot of the time, oftentimes, these manufacturers, they already have a catalog of products that they sold to their other clients. So 9 times out of 10, when you send them your logo, there's another company, at least probably 100 other companies that have that same style as you. So that's why we're seeing this huge surge of entrepreneurs who are dipping into the watch industry, because of how easy it is to pretty much essentially have a white label product. What I'm doing to stand apart from those guys, I actually have a manufacturer here in LA, and it allows me to be more hands-on. Like, I no longer have to communicate with people overseas. I don't have to just send them my design and they send back a rendering based off something that they already have. Like, I'm actually having hands-on. If I have a problem and I need to talk to somebody face to face, I could pull up right down the street from me. They live right down the street from where I live.
That's what's up.
And I was having that problem in my first year of business, where I was so frustrated with a manufacturer, and I'm like, yo, I want to talk to somebody. Or they'll start talking to me crazy because they know I'm young. I'm like, yo, like, I need to talk to you in person now because you disrespect me. You know? So,
got to come see you, right?
Yeah, real quick. You're talking crazy. So it's like, now I can eliminate those issues, and I have more hands-on and actually seeing what's going on with my product. And I can actually customize my products. I can design the products with my manufacturer in person at their office. And so that's what I'm doing to stand apart, is to think of more ways on how I can make my products more unique, from the design down to the material.
Yeah, because it's funny, because I looked at some of these watches, and a lot of them, they were pretty much the same. And I could go on Alibaba, and I'm like, damn, that's the watch right there with, you know, somebody's name on it. Then some other company is selling the same watch. And so, yeah, I mean, and I know IG has an algorithm, and I look at watches, you know, I like watches, and but I'm like, my God, it was crazy. And I think having a manufacturer that you can customize, you're not going to be out of the box like somebody else and they slapping your name on it. So now you got the customization. Also, something in terms of physical products, when you're dealing with that communication with the manufacturer. A lot of times when you're going overseas, and this has happened to me before, not in the watch business, but the sample product that I got, that I was selling, when the real product, when I made the order, they were different products, and they were less, you know, cheaply made. And I'm like, man, I had to send the order back, and luckily they were cool. But and I'll be honest, a lot of those manufacturers, not all of them, but a lot of those manufacturers over there, quality is not something that they're super big on. You know, it's quantity. They're trying to move units. I was down at one of these outlet stores, decent looking watch. Man, I picked the watch up. It literally felt like it was a feather. I mean, it was nothing to it. You know what I mean? I'm like, no density whatsoever. I couldn't even wear it because every time I moved my wrist, it was clicking and clacking. I tried to wear it one time, man. I threw that thing away. Now it was only $39, but it was a piece of garbage. And a lot of that stuff is coming from over there, man. I hate to say it, but
sorry, it was less than $1 to make. I had when I was ordering samples, I know exactly the type of material you're talking about because I received that sample too at one point. But these manufacturers, they find me on LinkedIn, and I guess they be seeing the articles and things like that. So they reach out to me and say, "Oh, we had this special offer on our catalog," and then they say cheap watch design, da da da. I don't want nothing cheap. Like y'all marketing this, like this is how y'all trying to get customers by saying it's cheap. Like, nah, I'm good.
I know, man. I wanted to segue real quick, man, with this coronavirus, and I guess this probably, well, I don't know. I'm gonna ask you, has that affected your supply chain? Even though now you're in the States, you're working with a manufacturer in the States. Has that affected your supply chain and being able to get product?
A little bit, because although my manufacturer, their office is here, they still source the materials and stuff overseas. So it still causes a delay in the production and things like that. It has impacted my business because now people are beginning. Well, I don't even know now again, but there's inflation and these gas prices going up. But people, were at one point were beginning to spend money again. So, but because COVID, there was a downtime in my business tremendously where like nothing was coming in. Like I'll probably make it sell like 2 months. And so, it's still adjusting, but as far as manufacturing, there is some delays. It usually would take around 3 to 4 months for production, lead time. And now they say it could take up to 6 months, depending on when I put, my deposit down to get it made. So, it's crazy.
Speaking of that, man, deposits, getting your product. You told me off air, man, you got a new selection that's about to come out, man, and obviously, you found a better manufacturer. In terms of financing, because this is a big thing with a lot of entrepreneurs, how do you find it? How did you finance your initial order when you first started, and how are you looking to finance, your upcoming orders?
Yeah, so the first collection, yes, I 100% self-financed it. This next collection, I'm launching a crowdfunding campaign. Already launched a crowdfunding campaign. So I launched it on March 2nd. Yeah, so it's running now. It's a 30-day campaign, and I'm raising only a minimum of $20,000. That's all I need. And I said, I'm a believer. I'm a man of faith. And God said, put $20,000. I'm like, well, I think I need more than $20,000 to do what I'm trying to do. And I'm gonna go ahead and listen and put $20,000 down. So that's the minimum that I'm trying to raise, and that will go towards the mass production of the next collection and marketing and advertising. And with that marketing and advertising comes putting someone in place to handle it on social media and off social media. So that's how I'm financing this next collection and expanding the business right now.
All right. So if we want to support you, man, what's the link, or how are we able to do that?
Yeah. So the link is on Indiegogo. That's the hosting platform. You can also find the link on my Instagram. It's in my bio, and it's in Eartha's Instagram bio at Eartha Watch, and then my Instagram handle is at Emir Horton. And they'll be directed. You'll be directed to the link. We have some good perks, collaborations with some people. You spend a certain amount of money. If you're based here in Los Angeles, you'll get free headshots from Selfie World and my photographer. If one perk is offered, you spend at least $250. You can get some travel luxury expenses paid for. You get a $100 credit off of like the Ritz-Carlton and the Sheraton and the W, the Marriott. There's a full selection of hotels. You'll get three day breakfast during your stay, complimentary, Wi-Fi. On behalf of Showtime Travel, we're collaborating for the campaign, and so we have a lot of incentives that people can take advantage of, but any amount helps. But what I'm campaigning for, I'm trying to get at least 80 people to donate $250 if you can. But any amount helps. And if you can't donate, just share it with some people.
Definitely. All right. So you know how we do here in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. When we got our guests on, they're doing positive things, helping the community out and providing quality products and services. Make sure you guys support. So your Instagram is at Eartha Watches. Is it Watches or Watch? Eartha
Watch. At Eartha Watch.
Okay. Okay. And Eartha, guys, is EARTHA. Eartha Watch. At Eartha Watch. And yours is at Emir Horton. EMIR Horton. HORTON.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So make sure y'all check it out, guys. And like I said, this young brother, man, is doing some amazing things out here. Like I said, went to LA with $1,000 in his pocket from Philly, and he's making it happen, man. This is what it looks like, when you really want it. A lot of people talk about, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do this, I want to do that, but there's no action behind those words. And so when you have brothers and sisters like my man here doing, not just talking about it, but being about it, we definitely want to support them in their efforts. And also, man, I was rushing to get on here. I would have had my watch on, my Eartha watch on, but it's in the closet right now. So I know I normally wear a watch. I don't have any watch on right now, but I know the product is good, is solid. And like I said, and I purchased it. It wasn't no perk or nothing. I purchased the product because that's what we do. We build and support Black-owned businesses. You know what I mean? So definitely do that, man. Bro, let me ask you, man, the future. What do you see? Any expansion? Any additional products? What does the future hold for Eartha Watches, man? If you can give up, I mean, you might have some secret sauce or something going on that you can't give up. But what does the future hold, man? Any additional products or complimentary stuff?
Definitely some complimentary stuff. I can't say right now because I haven't seen one watch company do it yet. So
okay,
I am definitely going to do it. I'm not going to say what it is yet.
That's what's up. We respect that.
There definitely going to be some complimentary products. And what I'm really excited for, looking forward to, I want to launch a grant, like a grant for small businesses through Eartha, and I also want to have like a scholarship opportunity for students, high school and college students, through the Eartha Care mission, which is our philanthropic division for the company. Aside from that, I do want to get into retail distribution. I'm looking to hopefully get into retail by 2025. I do wish to have a brick and mortar. I do want to do on my own store, and I just want to heighten global distribution too, because like I said, UK and Canada and Ghana, South Africa, I know that there's a supply and a need over there for Eartha, and so like with Canada, we offer free shipping to Canada.
Right.
A lot of the other watch companies don't do that. I was on Twitter one time, and there was a Canadian. They were talking about the U.S. never shipped to Canada. It's always charging free. I'm like, well, Eartha does. So we offer free shipping to the U.S. and to Canada. And I'm thinking of other ways on how we can continue to get our products on the wrist of those who are further abroad. But those are my top goals for right now, if I had to list them out.
Here's a question that I get a lot for myself, but I'm going to ask it to you. If you could go back in time with your business, what's the one thing that you would do differently now, that since you know a lot more now than when you started?
To go back to this crowdfunding campaign, I would have launched this campaign a lot sooner.
Okay.
Yeah. Thinking back of the momentum that I had when I first launched the business, and the support that I've had, like people still are shocked that there's a black man who owns a watch company when they meet me. And I'm known to be the youngest black man to some people who owns a watch company. And so if I was to go back I would have launched that crowdfunding campaign sooner than I did, because you think about, like, even in 2020, it was the height of George Floyd, and everyone was supporting Black-owned businesses, and all these companies were trying to hold themselves accountable by funding our businesses. I should have launched it a lot sooner than I did now. Not to say that it's not going to be successful, but if I could have changed something, that's what it would have been. Because the opportunities were just, money was just coming from everywhere. And we were still in COVID, but these billion-dollar brands were still dropping dollars and grants and giving away funding. And even going back to, like, the retail space a little bit, like, I feel like a lot of Black businesses are not in these spaces because of the purchase order that comes with it. We don't have the capital to make the purchase order to get our products in these retail stores. But during that time, these Targets and Target's still doing it, like, have Black-owned collections and stuff like that in their stores. But there are a lot of other companies who died down and are no longer keeping their foot on the gas with that. But yeah, back in 2020, money was just flying everywhere for us, and it was a great time. It still is a great time for us, but back then it was a little different.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something, and I was telling a couple, I was getting interviewed the other night, and I was talking to a brother on this podcast. You had mentioned about not having the access to capital to fill these orders for the big stores. So, there's invoice financing or factoring, whatever you want to call it. So if you get an order from a reputable company, like, say, Walmart, Target, or something like that, you can get financing for your order. So just to give you an example, I'm going to make up some hypothetical numbers. So your product sells on the shelf for $10, right? It costs you $5 to manufacture. You're selling it to Target for $7, right? And so what happens if Target orders 1,000 of them, right? And so that's $7,000. Well, it's going to cost you $5,000 for you to fill that order, because it costs you $5 a unit, right? Now, but what you're selling them to Target for is $7,000. So there's a $2,000 spread, obviously, that you would make. And these are small numbers. But what happens is, with that $7,000 invoice, you can go to an invoice factoring company or financing company and say, look, I got this order from Target. I don't have the money to manufacture my product. And what they'll do is they'll actually give you the $7,000 minus a fee. And usually the fee might be 2.5%, 5%, or something like that. So they'll give you that money anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. So now you can go and produce that product and sell it to Target. And so what they'll do, so now Target's not going to pay you. They're going to pay the factoring company or the invoice financing company. You get the money up front. And for them giving you the money, they're going to take a little piece off the top. But so if you have a deal and you think you can't get that deal done, you can just Google invoice financing or invoice factoring. Now, it can't be an invoice from somebody sitting in the basement in their underwear and socks talking about, I want to buy 500 units or whatever. It's got to be those financing and factoring companies are going to vet who that purchase order is from, so they know they'll get paid. So Target, Walmart, big box stores, they know they're going to get paid from that. So that's just, a word for you guys looking to go in these big box stores. Don't worry about it. You get the factor or the invoice, you're going to get the money. Let me ask you real quick, bro. What, I know this was your first foray into entrepreneurship. Was it everything it was cracked up to be, or did you find it more difficult than you thought?
Just being an entrepreneur, period.
Yeah, well, with your business, yeah, and being an entrepreneur, period, from your experience. Is it everything you thought it would be?
Wasn't not really. and I say that too because I didn't grow up like being exposed to many entrepreneurs, so I didn't really know what it was like to be an entrepreneur. Although I've operated as an entrepreneur, not realizing it. Like when I was a child, like I used to burn CDs back when CDs were like really good and popular. And I would go to school and I would go on like LimeWire and put like music on these CDs, and I would go to school and sell these CDs. And you know, back when I was in like middle school or high school, you know, we listened to party music a lot and stuff like that. So a lot of my friends, they would want to listen to party music, and I would put party music on these CDs and I would sell it to them. And then my stepdad, he used to work at a pharmacy, and his co-workers would want to buy CDs too. Like they would give me a list of songs that they want on the CD, and I would burn the CD and sell it to them for like $10. So I had the entrepreneurial spirit in me, but not realizing it. So when I actually became like a full-fledged entrepreneur with Eartha, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know what came with it. I knew it was going to take a lot of work, just like everything, but I didn't know what those underlying subtitles was going to be when operating a business, especially in your first year. But it's definitely rewarding. I'm stuck with it now. Like I wouldn't trade it for nothing. You know, thank God I do have my business, because even like during COVID, when Hollywood was shut down, which is, you know, also what I do full time, Hollywood was shut down. There were no productions going on. So the way that I was able to support myself was through my business, which was the reason why I launched the business in the first place, because I'm like, I can't depend on Hollywood to support me financially when I moved here. And that's why I was going through those months of homelessness, because I'm like, I'm focused on this one source of income. I can't do that. I need something that's going to work for me and not against me. And so being an entrepreneur, the freedom that comes with it, I'm like, if it takes away my freedom, we want to have to, you know, talk about something. Like if someone want me to come work for them to produce something, like how long is it going to take and how much are you paying me? Because now I'm in love with my freedom that I have now because of my business. So it's going to have to make sense.
Yo, that's powerful. You hear that light bulb should go off. I might have to use that as a episode. I'm in love with my freedom, you know. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs, they really, it's the freedom, it's the flexibility. Not that you don't have to work, because you do, but you can arrange and move things around so it can suit you and, you know, be more amenable to the other things that you're trying to do. So, you know, I tell, excuse me, my daughters all the time, I'm like, if you're passionate about whatever it is, be it writing or whatever, the reason most people don't go after their passion is because they don't have an income stream to support that passion. So if you want to be a writer, a screenwriter, you're out in LA, right? It may take you a year to get your screenplay done. It may take you another year to get it bought, you know, so, but in the meantime, you got to eat. And the reason that we don't really focus on our genius or our dreams is because we got to go to work, probably at a job that you're just doing for the money, as opposed to creating some income streams, like you said, multiple income streams that can tide you over or even support you as you go and focus on the things that are important to you and that bring joy to you. And I think that's something that, all entrepreneurs and prospective entrepreneurs have to figure it out. I asked my pastor one time, I said, Pastor, I said, why do you think people don't live up to their potential or their dreams? And he said, man, he said debt. He said debt, bills and debt. He said, so if you didn't have a lot of bills, you didn't have a lot of debt, or you had the income to cover that, you know, without having to work for that, real estate, other passive income sources, e-commerce, whatever. He said, then you would be focusing on what God designed you to do. And he told me that probably 15 years ago. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because, you know, we chasing paper a lot of times, but it's not our purpose. That's right. And so, yeah, man, I commend you, man. Young brother, you out here doing your thing, man. And
thank you.
I just hope, yeah, man, I hope the people that are listening to this, they really understand what you've gone through, what you've accomplished, and what you're looking to accomplish. And you're putting the effort behind the want. Yeah, everybody wants something, but you got to put that effort behind it. I want to remind you guys, too, make sure if you want to hear our first interview, which was in 2020, go to episode 323. And it's titled From Homeless to Building a Watch Brand with my man, Emir Horton. I'm not going to hold you too much longer, bruh. But I wanted to see what's the best piece of advice, or the number one piece of advice that you would give a prospective entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur.
Yeah, there's so many. I would say for a prospective entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, I would say be authentic. And it sounds a little cliche, but y'all would really be surprised how many people there are, and business owners there are, who are trying to do something that they're not supposed to be doing because they are either intimidated or they're too busy looking at someone else. So I would say, be authentic, show up exactly who you are, because that is what sells. Like, have your product or your service to be like an emotional attachment. That is what's going to want people to support you and buy from you. Be authentic, be who you are, and don't change for nobody. And that's what's up. That's how I'm able to grow, and that's why Eartha is a consumer favorite, and that's why people love me. Also, I'm the face of the brand, so people see me, they get more familiar with my story, and through telling my story comes with being vulnerable a little bit, although it's uncomfortable. But we have enough fakes, in the world. So we have enough people who are trying to be something or project something that they're not. We go on social media, we see it all up and down our timelines of fake stuff. I work in the entertainment industry. Almost everything you see there is fake. It makes good television, but it's fake. So, as far as being an entrepreneur, again, I'll just say be authentic and just show up in your true self.
That's what's up. That's powerful, man. You can't fake that. And the people that are supposed to be with you, they're going to gravitate towards you. You just be yourself, be authentic. You don't want the other people that anyway, because this is going to be your tribe. And these are the people that are, gravitating towards you. So, man, we appreciate you, brother. Make sure y'all check out EARTHA EARTHA watches.com. Crowdfunding, support my brother. He's out here doing some yeoman's work out here, and you know how we do here on BEB. Support everybody that's on the show. Any last words, my brother, before we close it out?
My last words, thank you all for your support. I really do. Thank you, Jay, of course, for having me on yet again. And to everyone out there who's listening, I know we talked about it earlier, as far as like you want to start a business and you don't have the funding to start a business, and you have to work somewhere else to fund that business. But just be mindful of everything that you do, and be intentional with your time, and maximize and be strategic with your time, and hold on to your vision. Don't allow what you do to deter you away from your vision. I say it all the time. Like I bought myself a director's chair around COVID time, when I first purchased my director's chair, and I take that chair with me everywhere that I go. Like, I could be working as a production assistant, although I'm overqualified now. But if a friend of mine say, hey, I have this low budget film, can you come help me? And I'll come do it. But I'm bringing that director's chair with me. On the back of that director's chair, on the back of it and the front of it, I have Mr. Horton on it. Not Emir Horton, but Mr. Horton on it.
Mr. Horton. Damn.
But what I'm thinking of, though, when I'm sitting in that chair, is like I'm serving someone else's vision, but I'm sitting in my own at the same time. Yeah. And that is what allows me to remain focused on what it is that I'm after. Because this is not my project. I'm serving someone else who's on their project for their vision, but I'm still sitting in my own vision. So that's my last words, is chase after your dreams, man, and just be intentional. And that's all.
Man, that's powerful, bro. I'm jotting that down as we speak, man. So, all right, brother, appreciate you for having you on, man. Like I said, guys, make sure y'all check out EarthaWatches.com. That was an amazing episode and interview with Mr. Emir Horton, the founder of EarthaWatches.com. I'm going to give you guys a few of the major takeaways in a second, but before we do that, let me share my social media contact information and my resource links. Now, first and foremost, guys, everything is on blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Everything I'm about to tell you, please utilize the website. That is going to be the #1 resource for Black entrepreneurs. So go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and everything I'm about to give you is on the website. If you want the shortcut, go to bebconnect.com, bebconnect.com. It's going to take you right to the website. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show, guys, my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. So if you're interested in building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, you can go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy, $14.95 for the print version, $9.95 for the digital version. Now, if you need additional assistance building your successful, sustainable e-commerce business, make sure you use and take advantage of the #1 pound-for-pound e-commerce training program on the market, Brand Builder Academy Elite. You can go to bbaelite.com. It is a 15-week implementation program taking you from product ideation all the way to creating and building your own physical products brand or digital products brand, and then selling them on your site and the appropriate other sites, be it Amazon, eBay, or whatever. Pound for pound is the best course on the market if you're looking to build an e-commerce business, be it a physical products brand or a digital products brand. bbaelite.com. Once again, guys, all of this is on the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Also, at the top of the show, I mentioned the 2 platforms I created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community. If you are a Black product producer and you want to sell your product to Black consumers, please upload your product information to besmartbyblack.com. It is totally free, and you can connect and sell your product to Black consumers worldwide. Now, I didn't forget about you freelancers. If you do anything on Fiverr.com or freelancer.com, make sure you upload your information to hireblackfreelancers.com. Once again, it is free, and you can connect with Black consumers and Black business owners that want to hire Black freelancers. If you want to connect with me, guys, make sure if it's anything long, hit me at my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. That's jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. JAYJONES @blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is J Jones for Real. That's JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second IG account is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, JJones001. LinkedIn, just connect with me there, guys. J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse, at I am J Jones. Once again, guys, everything I just told you, the resource links and my contact information is all on the site. Please start utilizing blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, the website. It's new, rebranded, and I'm telling you, it is the resource for Black entrepreneurs. Make sure you go and hit the Learn tab, and you have all types of different content that you can go and learn from, be it e-commerce, scaling your business, side hustles, business strategy, everything that you need to do to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Now, let's do some takeaways from today's conversation with Mr. Emir Horton from Eartha Watches. Now, one of the things that I loved about this interview was you could actually see the progress this young brother made from his initial foray into entrepreneurship to where he is right now. And I asked him a question about, was it everything that he thought it was going to be? And he was like, nah, it's a little more difficult than he thought because he had no experience. And so a lot of people that listen to the podcast are in the space right now where they're looking to transition from employee to entrepreneur, and they may not have any experience as an entrepreneur. And I think this is a great episode for people in that stage, and also young entrepreneurs in terms of the stage of their business that they're in, because you can actually see the growing pains as Emir continues to move his business forward. Another thing is he talked about going through some trials and tribulations, which is common in any business. It's going to happen. And he was talking about getting burnt out. And a lot of times as an entrepreneur, we're so focused and we have so much on at risk and on the table and things we have to do that we can get burnt out. So a couple of things, tips I want to give you guys is this, especially if you're working out of the home, separate your work from your personal life. And I know a lot of times we're connected to these phones and everything like that, but have a period of time where you shut it down. So on Sundays, I'll be honest, guys, I don't do any work on Sundays. That's my day of rest. I may look at my email briefly or social media briefly, but I really don't do anything. And you have to learn how to compartmentalize, because as entrepreneurs, basically, if we don't make money in our business, we're not going to be able to survive. So make sure that you understand and compartmentalize and separate your personal from your business. And I think that was one of the reasons that Emir got overwhelmed, because it is a lot coming at you. Another thing you want to do is be able to time block, meaning you devote specific periods of time to specific tasks. And so you can help get those tasks done. As entrepreneurs, when we start out with a chief cook and bottle washer, we're doing everything. And a lot of times we get scattered in terms of being productive. So time blocking is when you take a certain period of time, be it 45 minutes, and you focus on one thing. You don't check your email. You don't answer the phone. You don't do anything else. You have a solo focus so you can complete that task. You know, another thing that excuse me, I thought that was important was Emir talked about the future and where he wanted to go. And so a lot of times you won't even understand or know what to look for or know where you're headed until you start. You're going to have all these ideas. I want to do this, 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 and this. But once you start getting into the mix, getting some feedback from your prospects and potential customers, then it's going to give you a pathway to help you expand. So Emir talked about having his own retail location, retail stores, and that's something that he has to build up to. But the vision is there. And really, we can have an initial vision, but until you actually get in and start being an entrepreneur, doing the business, it's a fluid environment and things are going to change. And what I really like and respect about Emir is that he understands things are going to change. So in the process, he talked about his new watch collection, right? This is going to be a little bit different. He's found a different manufacturer and he's doing the process differently because of the experiences that he had with his initial line. And so these are some of the things that, you know, you have to understand are going to happen when you're trying to move from that startup phase to that, I guess you want to call it the systemization phase. And so there are three phases of a business: launch, build, and grow, right? So you can also say startup phase, systemization phase, and scaling phase. So Emir is right after the startup. He's actually building or going into the systemization phase. He talked about hiring people, building a team. In order to grow, you're going to have to build out a team. And so I thought this episode was super important because it shows you the actual progress of an entrepreneur when he first came on the show on episode number 323 to episode number 400. So make sure you guys check out episode 323, get Emir's backstory, which is an amazing backstory, and then check this one out, episode 400. Now, you know how we do, family. Emir is talking about, excuse me, fundraising. So his new watch collection. So let's support this brother. Make sure you go to EarthaWatches.com. You can follow Emir, and I'll have the links in the show notes at Emir Horton, EmirHorton, and also at Eartha Watches. I believe it's at Eartha Watches on Instagram. Make sure, guys, this is actually a video too, so you can watch the interview, but make sure you guys sign up for the newsletter. We have all the show notes and links in the newsletter. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this while you're driving, working out, or doing something and you can't write down the links, make sure you go to the website Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and on the bottom of each page you'll see newsletter or join the family, which is the same thing. And the newsletter comes out every Monday morning and Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and it'll have the links to the show notes to the latest episodes and the links that are in the show notes. And that way you can be able just to go and get the newsletter, and now you don't have to worry about writing things down because it'll be a show synopsis and the appropriate links in there. So I'm going to have all the links about Emir's business and also his crowdfunding and everything like that in the show notes. So make sure you go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com and subscribe to the newsletter. You'll get show notes and all types of content that are going to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Now, before we close it on out, guys, I say this each and every week, but it's the truth. We continue to get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys. I can't do this without you. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast. The new website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Please go and use the website and the resources on the site. Go to the website, hit the learn button, and check out the resources to help build your business. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.